What is up guys, Jarv here and we're back again with some Destiny 2. Now today's video we're taking a look at Niobe's Torment, so we're going to be running through a full guide of levels 1 to 7. As well as this we'll be looking at the sweet loot that you can see here and how you can get your hands on it. As well as that though, we're going to be looking at a sweet cheese you can do which makes this encounter super easy, especially the intense level 7. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a rating and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. But without further delay, let's jump into this one. So Niobe's Torment can be located over in Niobe Labs. This is south of the outskirts in the European Dead Zone. So if you head on over there and jump on in, there's an entry code which I'll put in the video description. There's a link there with all the infographics, so be sure to have that handy. But once you clear out level 1, you'll first have the bypass level 1 code. So this is done by the machine gun, the hammerhead. You need to stand on the hand and basically spell out butterfly. Now all the infographics that you're going to see here are from Chaos Gaming. I will link his Twitter in the video description as well. They are super smart and super helpful. So if you either pause the video or bring up his infographics via the link in the description, they'll super help you along the way. So once you get wave 1 out the way, wave 2 is fairly straightforward. So it's pretty much the same as wave 1 with the exception of a few more major adds that spawn up on the balcony, as well as this splinter mine that you'll need to defuse in the middle of the arena. But once you complete that, you'll be ready to enter the second code for wave 2. It's really important to remember that for the first 6 wave at least, you're going to need 3 of the black armory weapons. This includes the Tatarage sniper rifle, the hammerhead machine gun which you've already seen, and the spiteful fang bow. So this is wave 2, this is bypass level 2. So this involves the machine gun as you can see here and the Tatarage sniper rifle. And once they both enter their codes, that completes this wave and we're into level 3. Now with this one you first need to pop a well in the middle to take out the servitor, and once you've taken them out you'll need to then approach the bosses. These are basically captains with shields, but once you take out the shield you can team shoot and melt the bosses. Once you complete that you'll be ready for level 3 of the bypass code, and this involves all 3 of you simultaneously shooting these symbols that you can see on screen now. Now from level 4 until 6 things will start to feel a little bit more difficult at least. As you can see here, servitors are now dividing off sections of the arena. The only way to remove this divide is by taking out the servitors themselves. Now again we pop a well in the middle, and Sleeper is actually really strong in here. If you can get it to ricochet off walls for example, you can get the rebound and that actually melts the servitors really effectively. Just be really careful not to take yourself out. Now as well as those though, you will also have snipers up on the balconies. These are shanks, so be sure to take those out to make it easy for the codes to be entered. Now you don't necessarily need to stand on the hand as far as I'm aware, I'm just doing it out of habit. But with this one you'll need to jump and shoot the word fly whilst in mid-air. And once you complete that, that then completes bypass level 4 and moves us nicely onto bypass level 5. So this level turns up the heat a little bit. So what will happen here is 2 major shanks will spawn with shields and drones, so you'll need to take those out, but all the enemies in the arena are also immune until you remove those shields. So you're best off popping down a well and literally using shotguns and anything like Sleeper to take these out. Once you take those out, there is also a captain that will need to be defeated and a few major dregs as well. But once you've defeated those, you'll need to dismantle a mine which also is protected by drones. Use a melee on those drones though, save your ammo for future sections. So that brings us nicely onto the bypass code for level 5. As you can see, this one is quite a long one and it does require all 3 weapons. So you need to stand in each of your sections, and going from left to right, top to bottom, you'll need to complete this sequence in order. So for us, we were communicating when we completed our sections, and in between that time we were just taking the opportunity just to check our symbols to see where our next few symbols are located. But once you enter the whole sequence in full, that will complete the bypass code for level 5 and move us on to level 6, and this is where the cheese takes place, which makes level 7 so much easier and makes this so achievable for a lot more fire teams. So the main challenge in level 6 are the 2 major bosses. So these have shields with drones, and again like previous rounds, the rest of the adds in the arena are immune until you remove those shields. Again, as with previous rounds though, you can use a well as a way of protecting yourself but also dealing additional damage. Now in this room there is a major shank. He's fairly harmless, and we'll call him Frank for the purpose of this video. So the idea with this cheese is that you leave Frank the Shank alive. Now each bypass code has two conditions. So you either need to clear all the ads to allow you to activate the code, or the code will automatically activate after a period of time, and that will mean even if there's ads still in the arena. So the idea is by leaving Frank the Shank alive, what that actually does is it means he goes into the next phase. And by doing so, that actually prevents civics and all the ads that would normally take place in wave 7 from even spawning in. So as you can see here, we're ready for bypass level 6. So for this one, we all have to stand on butterfly and shoot the trees. Now I'm shooting the shanks just to offer us a little bit of protection whilst we stand in a healing rift. But basically the shanks that you see now are the shanks that exist throughout the entire level 7 encounter. And that is basically it. You just need to wait it out and keep Frank the Shank alive. So this is basically bypass level 7. It looks fairly complicated, so feel free to definitely pause this or bring up the infographics via the link in the description. But each guardian has a specific set of symbols they need to shoot. Now these symbols need to be shot blindly, so in your section, so for me for example I was using the machine gun, so I'd use the machine gun to see the symbols, but then I would use a solar weapon in order to shoot them. And for the bow they would do exactly the same thing. They would use the bow to see the symbols, but then use an arc weapon to shoot those symbols. And finally for the sniper section they would use the sniper to see the symbols, but then they would use a void weapon in order to shoot them. So something like the hammerhead machine gun for example. They don't necessarily need to be black armory weapons though, they just need to be a weapon of that particular element. So by shooting them blindly and correctly, that will allow us to complete wave 7, which actually allows us to successfully complete Niobe's Torment. Now you can see here I'm taking a bit of peppering from these shanks, so be sure to pop down a healing rift if you have one, or if there's a warlock in your fire team, ask them to put one down for you. But a lot of that will depend on the position of where Frank is, because he is still alive at this particular moment in time. But once you've all successfully completed your codes, you'll finish the activity. So you've earned the Armory Forward Shell and the Hubris of Niobe Emblem. So you've successfully completed Niobe Lab and open entry to the Bergursia Forge. So there we have it guys, that is a full guide to the Niobe Torment and a sweet little cheese for round 7 to make things a little bit easier for you. So I'm going to take a quick look at the Ghost and the Emblem now for you guys. I'm going to let this one play out though. If you have found this video useful, feel free to leave a rating. It super helps me out here on the channel and you kill it as always. So definitely feel free to do that. And if you want to see more Destiny content moving forward, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to jump back into the game as always and I'll catch you again very soon. Peace.